Partey was not the only signing that day. In fact, it wasn't only just him, it wasn't just two, it wasn't just three, but supposedly four signings were made for Arsenal on deadline day. And we're going to take a closer look at just one of those special young signings. Hello and welcome to the Gooner Tour. Back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Tactical Breakdown series, the show in which we look at the players that have been linked to Arsenal typically, but now we're looking at the players that have signed for Arsenal. Now, first off, I need to make you aware that I am still not well at this point, and it is going to be a struggle for me to get through these next 10 minutes, but we're going to try and push through. Do not worry, I'm following all of the guidance that is out there. But we're going to push through. But apologies if I cough or need to take a drink at any point during these live 10 minutes because we do these videos live now. But today's video is all about Nikolaj. Nikolaj. I need to get some definite caveat on the pronunciation. But Moller is our Swedish 18-year-old striker's surname, and I've been able to get some exclusive access to some insight on the Swedish striker, who has been dubbed by some of his previous teammates as the new Ibrahimovic. I mean, as praise goes, that's pretty darn good, isn't it? So I think we're going to look into this guy in quite high esteem. So what I would like to do is to start off the video by first of all saying that there is a link in the description to the exclusive interview that I've done with our guest from today's show. Now, looking into this guy was tricky. There is barely any information out there about Nikolaj Moller. He is obviously been with Malmo. He went partly with Bologna, came back to Malmo. And my guest today is someone who has spent some time with Moller and actually has coached him for 2 years. And it's very, very lucky that we're able to speak to him. His name is Robin Asterhed. He is a coach of the under-19s at FC Copenhagen currently, but formerly was at Malmo. And actually speaking to Robin about Moller was really interesting, first of all, finding out some more about him. And I hope that you're going to enjoy the information I've got to give you just in a second. But if you could go and give the article a bit of love, I'd really appreciate it. But let's, without further ado, talk to Robin about our brand new striker.
Hey guys, this is a short introduction to Nikolaj Moller, the 18-year-old under-23 striker just joined today from the Malmö Academy. I would say that Nikolaj will fit really good into a 3-4-3 system as the classical number 9. He can also play as one of two strikers in a 4-4-2 system. He can play as the target man, he can play as the one who runs in behind. Comparing to former Arsenal players, I would say that maybe Canu is the closest one I can find in resemblance. On the pitch, Nico is a really technical player. He can handle the hard pass, the bouncy pass, the high pass. He can bring that in and he can control that for the team. He can flick in behind. He can combine really good on one touch. He also has the dribbling abilities, but it's like more and more the last years he has been less and less dribbling, so to speak. But he has that ability as well, so I hope he can dare to bring that forward, because then he's going to be a threat in many ways. He, as you of course all know, his physical presence is. He's a huge player. He's 194. He's 90 kilos. For this size, he's really mobile. As I said before, he can run in behind. He's quick the first meters. He's quite well timed in when to run, and he likes to be involved in the game. He likes to come to the ball, and he's not one of those who just wants to get it played onto him. He seeks the ball and he wants to play. The biggest potential for him, I would say, is that maybe he can be too involved sometimes. Instead of, okay, tactically now, how can I create space? How can I go away from the ball to get a better position and to create more finishing chances? Because he has a a really nice right foot. He can hit the ball really hard and really precise, but still maybe he comes to too few finishing situations to be a really successful number 9. So okay, can I get away from the ball? Can I get in a better position to attack the ball when the time is right? Then he can be even more dangerous for the opposite sides. That's all from me. You take care and good luck. Bye.
Massive thank you to Robin, who I have to say is sporting one of the greatest Johan Cruyff jumpers I've ever seen, firstly. But a massive thank you to Robin, who gives us that insight there on a striker that seems for someone, I mean, the part that I pick out most from that is that we're finally getting kind of a target man, sort of tall striker, that if you look at the youth ranks at Arsenal, we've got the likes of Reece John Jules gone out alone on Doncaster. We've got Florian Balogun, and of course, Eddie Nketiah has made his way into the Arsenal first team as well. And none of them kind of present themselves as that target man type, as that tall striker. So knowing that Arsenal have got someone young and sort of this physical brute of a striker up top who is still mobile, technically able, can actually do something with the ball on the turn, with the flick, with the passing, is really strong. To know. So again, massive thank you there to Robin for giving us the exclusive insight on that. And what I want to do is point out some graphics. Now, as I did say, trying to get information on some of these young guys is really, really difficult. And you can go onto YouTube and you can go onto basically, if we talk about YouTube, you can go onto YouTube typically and you can pick and choose whoever you like in terms of world football. There's usually a compilation for nearly every single footballer. Now, Y-Scout, which is the program that I use to collate analytics and statistics and videos and put stuff together in the graphics for you guys, had absolutely nothing. No videos, no stats, no nothing. That's how left field this guy is. So trawling through YouTube, managed to find a compilation of I believe it's a single game that Moller was playing in. But I've taken some screenshots from said game and put my own graphics on. I am going to be honest with you, they're not the best. It was all done on PowerPoint in a very quick turnaround time. So apologies that it's not the usual highbrow Y-Scout graphics with the annotations. But here we go through some of them. So Moller is the guy on the left-hand side here. Now, as you can see from his height, he's already overordering of the other defenders here. Receives the ball inside. Now, a target man, what we've seen from the likes of Olivier Giroud, is really good at sort of holding the ball up excellently well, taking that ball in, linking up play. And that's exactly what Moller does here. Takes in the ball and moves out into a wide position. So he can then move forward and run into more of an offensive position. He's not only in that sense technical, but also he does enjoy the odd cheeky flick. The ball comes over to him here, and he basically not overhead kicks it, but he flicks over the top of his head for an on-rushing winger to take on. His spatial awareness is really good. His awareness of where his teammates are is clearly good, to have the ability to seek and find his teammates with these types of passes. And he was also, we talk about his technical ability, he's good in close space here, being surrounded by many black shirts, as you can see there. Swivels, turns, and in the video that I found is really good at sort of breaking away from space and playing these balls in. Now, what you will notice is that this is quite deep in the pitch, and something that Robin talked about in his breakdown was that sometimes he can get too involved with play, which means that he doesn't often find himself in as many attacking positions he possibly could do. Now, that is something that hopefully the likes of Steve Bold and the other coaches in the youth setup can kind of tweak and change and coach out of him. It might be something that's a really good strength of his that we can sort of transition and transform into something that Arsenal can really sort of use. But in terms of sort of insight on this guy, you are really hard-pressed to find information on Moller. So I really hope you've enjoyed getting the access to some of this content and some insight in, because you will struggle to find something anywhere else. As I said again, if you want to find out even more, there's a larger breakdown of Robin's comments in the article, which is in the description. So I implore you to please go and check that out. If you could go give it a share as well on Twitter, I'd really appreciate it. As starting out a life as a journalist and getting an exclusive within your first couple of weeks was great. And I'm really kind of enjoying that investigative journalism and finding some contacts to get you guys the content. So it's looking good. I'm really hoping that my health improves over the couple of next days or so. Hopefully I'll be in much more of a cleaner state to be able to present some more to you. I'm looking into the other guys that have signed for us, Joe Idaho and Omar Rekic as well, two youngsters that have also signed for Arsenal on deadline day with Thomas Partey. And by the way, members, you may not have noticed this yet, but if you go into your emoji section, there's a little present waiting for you that you can now use in the chat box. I'm hoping it's there because I did just upload it. So maybe it's taken a little bit for it to get through to you, but I'm hoping that you're able to access it. So if you would like to become a member and get access to some funny content in the chat boxes, but not only that, you get access to exclusive content. You get more content from really lots of experts. Last month we had Adam White, who is the chief features writer at Get French Football News, and he talked to us a lot about Houssem Aouar, which now, of course, is a long way off that being realistic, but it's really good to get the insight from the guys. I'm also going to get Alvaro Romeo back on the show. I know a lot of you enjoyed the interview that I did with him about Partey and Torreira previously too, and I'm going to get him back on the show to have a talk about Partey in a lot more detail. I'm also going to have a chat to James Benge at some point about the transfer market as a whole, and myself, Drew, John and Owen will hopefully be back very soon for another TGT Writers podcast. It's been a bit quiet on the Writers Front on the website. We're aware of that. With the way that work has been for myself, doing 2 jobs at once, it just hasn't been able to get sort of these articles pushed through at the moment. And finally, the last thing to plug, which I do, if I do have it to hand, I'll point it out. I'm not sure. Oh, I do have it to hand. But the 3rd issue of the Modern Footballer magazine, which is this magazine here, is I've just finished writing a piece on Asensio for that as well. So it was quite funny because I tweeted out yesterday, whilst everyone's getting mad over Partey, I'm writing about Asensio, and a good 15 people DM'd me to say, is Asensio signing for Arsenal? It's funny how quickly you can influence people on social media, isn't it? But yeah, make sure you check that Modern Footballer magazine out as soon as you get a chance. I don't get paid for it. It's just something that it's really enjoyable to write about the players that you like. It's been a pleasure to speak to you guys, as it always is. Sorry that I haven't been able to get involved with the chat box too much. I see that you have discovered the emoji, which I'm still frustrated by StreamYard not being able to put them onto the screen that I can highlight. But if you're in the YouTube chat, you'll definitely be able to see the Partey emoji. So please make sure you use that in future, because it is party time, but it's also time to have a look at some more of our youngsters that we've signed. I'm hoping you've enjoyed this breakdown of Nikolaj, Moller. If you have done, please drop a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and turn those notifications on so you never miss a show. I intend on doing as much content, no matter how ill I am, over the course of the next 2 weeks of the international break. I refuse to allow you to have an Arsenal drought. You've just had Partey sign, and then you've got to wait 2 weeks until you can see him in an Arsenal shirt. It's not fair. It's not right. And that's why I'm going to produce some content for you to hopefully satisfy you in that brief amount of time that we've got to wait to finally see him play. I will see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.